Welcome to Kandid 2.0. I am Kieran Lightbond, a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of Old Fort.
And I am John Joseph, a Rotarian from the Rotary Club of East Nassau.
And we welcome you again to Kandid 2.0. And just for a little insight of what is Kandid. Kandid started off actually Kandid with Kieran. About 2 years ago, I was the Sergeant of Arms for the Rotary Club of Old Fort, and I was charged for making a fellowship content, have members join and fellowship with us. And as a result, we started interviewing very interesting people. And when we first started, it would have been for the breast cancer awareness, and it just blew from there, where we had some amazing guests. We have the present Rotary International President, Mr. Sheikh Almeida. We've had Dr. Sylvia Whitlock, who would have been known as the first female Rotary Club President, and many other guests that we've had with us. And right now, we are evolving where we would like to bring the story of so much other Bahamians and others to you, to be able to understand different aspects of business, what is going on locally and internationally. And that is why I have my good friend John here to help us as we journey this trip.
Yeah, so we're just here trying to propel this, bring this to a bigger stage. So we'll be doing shows twice a month and bringing it to you guys and giving you an insight of what's going on in the Bahamas and in the world also.
And the beautiful thing is, you talk about bigger stage. And John, it's no mystery or secret, but one thing you know about is the bigger stage. And we're talking about that YouTube field, being in the YouTube environment, understanding social media. And I feel that you know a little bit more about this. So tell us now, with us taking Kandid and evolving Kandid to reach out to so much more, what should we do?
Well, YouTube right now is one of the biggest stages, and we want to see if we can capitalize on that to give ourselves some more eyes and be able to spread what we're doing here to the world. Also, Rotary is a charitable organization, so we will be trying to monetize this. So guys, if you are viewing, please don't forget to like, subscribe, to just, so you'll be notified when we do drop a video. I promise you won't regret it. We're going to have some very engaging topics. And also don't forget to drop comments based on any topic that we're speaking about. I had to put that plug in there because, like I said, we are a charitable organization. So any revenues that we make on this program will be going to a good cause.
And yes, we do have many good causes. Even in this Rotary year that we have coming up, we have so much to do. The pandemic has kind of kept us closed and limited, and with everything opening back up means that innovation, creativity, you will see a Rotary reel coming soon to you.
Absolutely. All right. So we have some interesting topics for you guys today. We'll be discussing, and this is our first episode, so we will be having guests on periodically. So it won't just be us, these two handsome fellas here. We will have some other people joining us periodically.
Plenty on the handsome.
Yes, we will have a lot of, but today we do have some very interesting topics that we'd like to talk about. You guys know what we've been through in the past 2 years. It's been a roller coaster ride. It's been extremely difficult for some. A lot of people had to adjust, so we do want to bring some of those things to light and get your views, especially on what you guys are thinking. It's just start a conversation as we move out of this pandemic situation and into some normalcy, like everyone else is. The new word that everyone's using, normalcy now.
Like telling you, the new normal.
Yeah.
But I would like to ask, so for the pandemic, I know for me, what it has done is given me the opportunity to expand, sit down, take some time, and expand my knowledge in the different fields that I am in right now, which is project management, public speaking, team building, communication, and all of the alike. And it is given me the opportunity to use technology in a different way being able to reach out to all the parts of the world. I've spoken in India, wherever the places may be. But I would like to know, what have you done? Tell me what you've been doing other than keeping handsome during the pandemic.
Handsome is a tough job.
I know,
But
I know.
no, well, my background being in IT, we were some of the first people, the first line to have to adjust pretty quickly. There was a statement that someone made that they asked the question, what's driving the infrastructure and technology change in your business? And most IT people would have said the pandemic, because before the pandemic, we were all doing business the normal way. We would just go into the office and you do your 9 hours and then you leave. But when we were all forced to stay home, that remote working thing became so important. It's like ridiculous. We had to find ways to sign documents. For those of you in the stock market, you're seeing how Adobe and all of those other digital signature companies, stocks went sky high. It was pretty much it's like overnight. It was ridiculous, basically. So we basically had to adjust. It was a drastic, a steep adjustment. It wasn't, a gradual change. We had to make it right away. The government ordered everyone to stay home, full stop. So we had to make sure that business could continue, and it was tough at first, but we were able to to push through it and become successful. Now, on your side of things, I know you've been doing a lot of training, and that's an in-person thing. So how has that been for you guys?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. It has been a burning experience. And I say, yes, I use the word burning because you think of you think about having to be in the front of a screen all the time. So, dealing with work, you're at what we call the 9 to 5, and because most of it was remote, so you're working through a screen, looking at your computer, your laptops, whatever it may be. So you're looking at that from 9 to 5, or well, let's leave it like that. From 9 to 5, we're working on that, and then you come home to try to advance yourself. What it has been a good and a bad thing. It has been kind of bad due to the point of always having to be in front of the screen. It really it plays a toll on your eyes, on your mind. But it was a great thing because it got me to places that I would have normally didn't have the opportunity to get. So to get to, I should say, and being able to be in a global world, it lessened the world, the size of the world. It felt as if I could have just threw my hand and pulled China closer to me.
Right.
When I had my job training, when I did team building training there, or even when I did a training in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And then to also experience these different cultures without having to purchase a plane ticket, find a room, get left by my plane, and then have to find a way back home.
Yeah.
So you get on that. So it did well.
I think one of the things that I thought about during this whole situation, and I was like, you know what? The businesses that are able to adjust quickly are the ones that are going to survive. And I think you were probably one of those that adjusted quickly, because there are a lot of people that probably in the same field as you, and they didn't do as well because they weren't able to adjust fast enough. And I think that's the key. We have to be agile in everything that we do, because the world, that's the only constant we have in the world, is change. So we have to remember to always be agile. And you did a great job with that, because if you saw success during that time, then you definitely succeeded in adapting to the different situations that we had going on.
Well, I know you felt your levels of success also with your YouTube page.
Yeah. Actually,
come on, don't hide that. Don't try not to hide that. I want to hear about that. I'll tell you, because I know we have a lot of persons that either are now trying to move that social media way, going through the YouTube, or trying to make a living from that way, or they're just even thinking about it, trying to start something. But for you, you've traveled that area. Yeah. Tell us about your journey and where you are now.
So I think YouTube is the easiest way to make money right now online. It's you just need a camera, and everyone has one right now with their smartphone, and the camera is excellent quality. Sound is usually pretty good also. But like I said, you just record yourself. And what people don't realize is everyone is interested in everyone else, usually. Like someone in the United States wants to know how I'm living in the Bahamas. Okay. Always. It's always someone interested. There's 7 billion people in the world. YouTube has about, I can't remember the number, but it's billions of views per day on YouTube. So that's just the audience is just huge, and you post a video and you basically could tap into that entire audience pool, or at least a portion of it. Imagine if you could tap into 1 million people on top of your views, and you're getting a percentage of the ad revenue that they make. You're getting more of a percentage than YouTube is making. Okay. So they give you more. They give you 55% as opposed to other ad agencies and it's just easy. It's no cost to them. You providing the content, they're just running ads on. So they want you to create content, and they want you to hook people. And that's why some of the silliest things get like millions of views. Someone is always interested in what you have to say.
So now you spoke about monetization, making this money, but I need to start. Let's go back to when you first started speaking about camera and sound. Because yes, there might be billions of persons I could tap into, but I'll tell you, I have a YouTube page. I probably had a YouTube page now for about three years, and I'm ready to break. We just celebrated breaking 100 views. Okay. So I would like to know, and I'll be honest, I haven't been consistent with it, but I would like for you to take me back to where you speak about sound and audio, sound and camera and the camera view, because that wasn't something I paid too much attention to. I just pulled up my phone and I just started talking and I post.
Right. So the thing is, right, everyone has a good, I wouldn't worry too much about cameras, right now, because everyone has a good camera. Yes, just about any modern day smartphone has a HD camera on it. All right. Sound is where you really have to focus. People can't hear what you say. I've posted videos with bad sound, and they just destroy me in the comments.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. So if they can't understand or hear what you're saying, it takes away from you. You could have the best video in the world without the sound. It's horrible video. Oh, wow. So you pay attention to the sound. That's the main thing. Most smartphones also have a good mic. It's like later on you will upgrade. You could always buy like a little $12 mic that you pin on your shirt, but most smartphones have the sound, and I think that's the key. You need to make it easy for you to record, so you could start putting videos out there quickly and consistently, because that's another thing. People talk about this YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
Honestly, I've been doing YouTube for a while now. I still don't know what the algorithm is. I don't know what it does.
You might be the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, but I mean, they talk about the algorithm. I understand the concept of the algorithm is basically YouTube rewards creators that are consistent, and then they also check to see how much engagement you're having. So, and that's why, some of the people that post every Tuesday or every Wednesday or whatever, their audience knows that they're posting on that time, so they know when to come in and view. And then also, they leave a lot of comments. That's why you guys should leave a comment and a like.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So we have become more engaging, and then YouTube rewards that with putting the video in front of the audience that that you're captivating.
So, being now that you have such an expansive knowledge when it comes to YouTube, especially on the technical side, because as I state, I'm sure most of us, when we think YouTube, we just think press record on our camera phones, we say some stuff, or we get a view of something happening, and we just post it, and we're looking for views. Some of us do want to make a business out of it, or at least some form of income. And as you started to talk about monetization and understanding now where you just came from with the technical aspect, let's get into the monetization. What would it take? What does it take for me to be monetized by YouTube?
Well, first, before I go that way, I want to say that because I'm a Bahamian, we are from the Bahamas. a lot of people don't think about using YouTube as a business. My channel is still relatively small, but I do know of other behemoths that have ridiculous amount of followers. Like there's a behemoth called Christian Madam G. I'm sure he's over $1 million now. We could post something on the screen with his YouTube stats. But
yes, please.
He's a young Bahamian entrepreneur. I call him an entrepreneur because he's using YouTube as a business. Then there's I think Tipsy Bartender is a Bahamian.
Yes.
He has
Jungle
millions of
Juice
subscribers
guy.
also. Yeah. So between Kristen and Tipsy Bartender, I'm sure they probably have over somewhere close to 10 million subscribers or whatever. Even though the subscribers are not as important as the amount of views that you're getting, because the views will say, the ads.
Right.
In terms of us being from the Bahamas, I think a lot of people don't think that, you can monetize. And just because you're from a smaller country and not the US, you still could pull an audience also. I monetized very easily. It's actually extremely easy. You just need an AdSense account. You need over 1,000 subscribers, and you need what they call 400 watch hours.
Okay.
And once you get those, you can apply for the monetization to become a part of their program, YouTube Partner Program, and then you can tie that AdSense account to any local Bahamian account. I use Scotiabank. You go straight to Scotiabank, no problem.
Oh wow, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's extremely easy. I think the hardest part is to get to 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
That you need a little bit of effort and a little bit of creativity, but just consistency alone will get you there. Because just the nature of YouTube is, you are going to get at least 1,000 people are going to be. You got billions of people in the world.
Yes.
1,000 people interested in you. That's guaranteed.
That's like,
yeah, I mean, sure,
I just have to put myself out there.
You just got to put yourself out there, and then you have to get a structured approach.
Right.
Tipsy Bartender, his niche is drinks, and he's been doing that for years. I guess he was a bartender before, and he just shows you how to make drinks, and I'm sure his revenues are ridiculous. I won't post we won't post their revenues, but
right.
There's ways you can find out what people make on YouTube.
Oh,
but
so they post that also, like that's not.
Yeah, it's an estimation.
Okay.
There's a website that estimates based on the amount of views you get and the amount of commercials they call it CPM, right? Cost per mille. So every 1,000 views you get, you have a rate. So I think my rate is like $7 or something like that.
Oh wow.
Tech usually higher. Tech
Okay.
and finance usually higher than other. So finance is the highest, but basically, they do an estimation of how many views you have versus your CPM, and they multiply that, and they give you an average of what they think you can make.
That is.
And literally you can actually have a business, sell merchandise around it. You can have you can work with brands. I've been contacted by all this on YouTube. I've been contacted by brands, and they've sent me products to review for them. They haven't paid me any money yet, but they just send me the products free.
Okay.
So I mean, but it's working towards that. So now I'm in negotiation with another brand now who wants to pay for me to add some content on my channel for them. So I mean,
if brands wanted right now, if brands wanted us in this setting to speak on them, speak about them,
absolutely,
to review them, that could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, we're doing a business. This is a business related show. So banks like Fidelity may have a product for Fidelity, may have a product for our audience, and then they may just want us to have a segment. And then they help us, to pay for Barry, our videographer, and, different things just to keep the show running. So, definitely brands could approach us. And
that's so much. Imagine all this coming from just one platform such as YouTube to be able to get to the masses. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but do you help persons? Like, let's say I'm brand new into YouTube. I just need somebody to guide me, steer me. Do you assist with that, or?
I do not have anything structured in a way where I could help people. I don't have a program, I don't have anything like that. But just shoot me an email or whatever. You leave my emails in in the comments or somewhere,
Right.
and just shoot me an email, ask a question. Like I say, my channel is still relatively small,
Right.
but we'll leave a link to that also. But you know, there are things that there's knowledge that I have that I probably can pass on, and it's free knowledge. It doesn't matter. We can hand that out, no problems, just to help other people get, you know, on this YouTube journey, which I think can be lucrative for most people.
And as you said, well, I'll leave the link for my LinkedIn page. It's it's significantly smaller than his. However, it just speaks to the big point in which he stated. First, we just need to start.
Yeah,
starting. I think is the hard. From what you're saying, starting is the hardest thing, and then
I think the key is to just keep going.
Okay.
And a lot of people, we learn how to succeed. We don't learn how to fail. You have to fail. You have to keep failing. Like, just keep failing. Just get used to failing. Because if you put out 10 things, one might be good. But you have to be okay with the 9. Because that's the only way you could get to that 1. So you just have to keep going. Just keep going. Get used to failure because it happens.
All right. So how long? So just want to ask, before you became to the level you are now, about how much reels do you think you would consider? You know what? I wish I did take that one back.
Yeah. And I still leave them up, right?
Right, but you still have them up, right?
But yeah, I still have them up, right? But I mean, if you go back and you look, it's been a nightmare. You could see the mistakes. You could see the ones that were horrible, the bad mic. You could see the bad coloring. It's just been a learning process as you go. You know.
All right. So as we continue to move forward, and understanding exactly being able to articulate your experience for those persons who are aspiring YouTubers, or even just social media presenters or performers, what tips would you give them?
The hardest thing, to be honest with you, about just YouTube, especially YouTube, is being yourself. To be honest with you.
Come on.
That's actually...
No, come on. You're trying to tell me that it's hard for me to or anybody to just sit there and record themselves, just being them.
Because you're talking to the camera, you're talking to no one. See, me, you're talking right now,
okay.
So the energy, you could feel the energy, we could feed off each other, you know. But when you're talking to a camera, you're talking to absolutely no one. And so in your mind, it's like it's all psychological, because in your mind, you know you ain't talking to no one. So now you have to think of how I would be if I was talking to someone. And that's 90% of the time not the person you are. Yeah? So you end up being a robot for the first 10 videos.
Right.
But you can get it. Just keep going. It'll get better.
So consistency and keep going.
You just gotta keep going. That's it. Because you'll be a robot. Like I have some videos now just loaded. We're getting ready to upload.
Right.
Because I had a big break. Man, I back to being a robot again. Good morning. It's just it's ridiculous.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a process. It's
an ongoing process.
Yeah, so definitely 2 things that I would, basically 2 tips that I would have for someone who's starting YouTube. 1, I would say try your best to be yourself. And number 2, I would say just get as much as you could get. Just get as much reps as you could get in, because practice makes perfect, basically. Well, I was told not to say perfect. Practice makes better. The thing, that would be perfect, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that would be just the 2 basic tips. You have to start, and then you have to try to be yourself, because people are going to be interested in your personality.
Right.
They ain't gonna be, most of the time, it's not what you say, is basically who's saying it. So, I think that's the 2 tips that I would give.
Well, awesome. And so now let's looking at that. That's like a partnership, believe it or not. That's a partnership where you just starting and being authentically you, and to keep going, right? It's just like it will be a partnership between you and YouTube, right? Where that is a partnership, because YouTube does not have the impact it is having without you. Right?
Exactly.
But now let's continue talking about other partnerships, because I'm hearing about the partnership between Apple and Square. Man, that's like...
Yeah. Actually,
wow.
that's huge. That's a big thing. I think Apple is a company that has been playing chess the whole time while everybody else playing checkers. That's a common statement, right? Like a lot of people saying it, but I don't think they really realize and see how Apple has been moving this entire time. They some smooth dudes, and not only like you could tell that the way Apple moves, you could tell that they have some planning and some thought going into it, because they seamlessly transitioned from Steve Jobs, and it's been like no stops. Like, it's just been smooth. Usually when you have companies transitions from CEO to CEO, it usually has a problem. Microsoft had a huge problem when Steve Ballmer was in charge. Everything was going down, and then Satya came in and it just turned the company around. Bill Gates was doing a good job, and then they see these ups and downs when you change CEOs. But Apple has been really, really good, and they just recently partnered with Block, mostly known as Square.
Okay.
But basically they're doing huge. I think that's going to be a big thing for small businesses. We're going to see a lot. You're probably going to start seeing a lot of change in the way. For the first time, I went into Solomon's and I saw they had Shift Payments. Yes. That's a company that's on the stock market. Shift 4, I think it's called Shift 4 Payments. So you'll see more and more. I think Apple Pay works down here also.
Some persons I know do
use Apple Pay, right?
They do use Apple Pay.
So we being a small country, whenever you see something hit the Bahamas, it's a big deal, because we usually lay on the back end of technology. Right. Especially for someone like me who is usually, I usually know what technology is out. I usually know, and then it's not available in the Bahamas. Oh, we can't use that here. But more and more now, I see it's becoming more and more. The technology is trickling down a little bit faster. Yes. And that partnership with Square and Apple Pay, I think that's going to be a huge move. I think that's going to be awesome.
I fully agree, especially knowing that we do have a lot of small business owners that use Square, because a lot of times they cannot afford initially the POS systems that you can pay for, but they at the same time need to give themselves credibility when they go to financial institutions. So the use of Square was normally the go-to. So now you add Apple, and then you speak about the different or the new incentives that comes with now using this, the result of this partnership, being able to do tap to pay, because regardless of how we look at it, everything now is moving to digital. Technology has created a way now. Everything is a digital channel. It has a digital footprint. And if you're not moving with the time, you could imagine going in the food store with cash one day and they tell you that we can't accept.
So you better get used to it. I remember, especially with technology, a lot of people, they try to fight technology. I remember Apple has been going through some issues with technology and the right to repair and with their port, people wanted them to use the standard port like USB-C and all this other stuff and everything, right? And anytime it's difficult, anytime there's a change, something that you have to make a change, is on Apple's side right now for them to change that port, it's going to take away from some of their revenues. That change is going to be painful for them. But I do think that at the end, change is always good, right?
Yes.
And so I think with this move from fiat currency to digital currency, I think that's a good change, because you have to think about all of the small businesses that don't have any POSs, that don't have any form of no ability to take payments from people, and companies like Square and now Apple, they're making it a whole lot easier for companies to do business.
Yes, I fully agree, and I support the partnership especially, but understanding that they do have plans to expand it, not so that it doesn't only attract Apple users, but other phone type users. I just want to put it over
Android,
like that.
So Android,
right.
So they're going to expand it all the way to Android and everything. Yeah, that's a major move in the US. And we may see some of that trickle down here. However, we do have some of our own mobile payment platforms.
Yes, we do.
namely Canoe, Mobile
Yes.
Assist, and
Island Pay.
Island Pay. That's
Yes.
what it is. So we do have, so already we had some forward thinkers, and those companies were created. The Bahamas government had Sand Dollar. Those are the wallets for the Sand Dollar. So Apple already has some competition in this market if they do, when it does start to trickle down. But I do think that those companies, they are forward-thinking companies, and they are some of, like, I honestly don't understand why, as Bahamians, why are we not using that on a day-to-day basis? Do
Fair.
you use any of those?
Yes, I use a few of them, especially when I go grocery shopping, and to help pay with bills, because a lot of times you want to feel a little secure when you having this money, when you transacting these funds, and I don't like to carry cash with me.
Okay, all right.
So what
That's fair
that
enough.
so what it does, I wouldn't say it forces me, but it not even challenges. What it does, it causes me now to go to these companies that support these different digital wallets that you could use and move around with. Because let's look at the other day, there was issues where you couldn't have gotten cash from ATMs, or you have maybe issues with the different credit card swipe machines that you get from the traditional bank. Where does that leave you?
Yeah.
What do you
have
do
no
there?
access to cash, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have
Yeah.
to go to the grocery store. You have other needs that you need to satisfy.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, I mean, like I say, I think every Bahamian should be at least using one of those three. Like, they're not sponsored. We're not sponsored by any of these, by the way, but they are Canoe Pay, they are Mobile Assist, and Island Pay. So I ain't saying we won't accept any sponsors, but I'm just saying, right now we just mention it because those are the platforms that are out there. And to be honest with you, I think every Bahamian should have at least access to one of them and actually using one of them, because the reality is we moving in that direction. And Sand Dollar, the Bahamas government has been praised all over the world for
won awards.
Yeah, won awards all over the world for Sand Dollar, because to be honest with you, it's the way the world is going. That's the direction we're heading in.
Yes, it's going to be a digital market one way or the other. Even if you bring in crypto, if you look at now how crypto, as the Bahamas wanting to create or be the hub in the Caribbean for cryptocurrency, and how all of that is still going to be impacted by our different, I call them digital wallets, what we'll be able to do out there. Because now I know for those who order online, certain companies, I don't want to say, but certain companies in Japan, in the Asian side of the world, now they mainly accept only cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So how do you do business how do you continue to do business if you're not able now to pay for your services or to pay for your goods that allow you to stay in business?
No, that's true. And what I want to see though with this whole crypto thing is I want to be able to see it. See, because I think a lot of people, they kind of have some sort of, like, they afraid.
That's me. I'll be honest with you. I've heard about it. I've been persons talked to me on numerous occasions. It even took me a while to buy into the Sand Dollar because I'm so used to the traditional way of things.
Right, yeah.
And I felt the traditional way of things gave me more control. So I would like to hear, I'll tell you, so when you're speaking, you're going to be speaking to me, that person who is afraid, because it seems intimidating with so much mess, so much things that you have to learn to stay away from being scammed or from not being, because we don't want to go into anything that we know we'll lose our money. Not that you will, but
Well, see, the thing about this with, like, the Sand Dollar, right? Is not like the other cryptocurrencies, right? Sand Dollar doesn't go up and down in value. It's been to the Bahamian dollar, and that's always going to be in value.
Oh, see, I didn't know
So
that.
the Sand Dollar value is not going to change like any other cryptocurrency. So you could feel safe, and it's backed by the Bahamian government. So you could feel safe that if you if you invest in government bonds and everything like that, you should feel no weight in. It's almost, it doesn't pay you any interest, but I mean, it's just you having the faith that the Bahamas government will pay you when it's time to redeem your bond.
Yes.
Then you know that when you redeem your Sand Dollar, they will give you your money because it's the same, technically like the same backing, right? So it is backed by the Bahamian dollar. So you don't have to feel any insecurities, or you don't have to feel like you could lose your money if you use the Sand Dollar. Sand Dollar has just been made to just make life easy. we have some islands that don't have banks. Some banks pulled out from some islands here.
Yes.
So now they could download a Canoe Mobile Assist or
Island
Pay app, and they could continue. Like
wow.
that's a.
Oh,
You can imagine if you wanna. I think there was. I think Scotiabank was the only bank on Andros Avenue. On Andros Island.
And I think they pulled.
I think they pulled out, right? And that's the only bank. So now you have, I don't know, 7,000 to 10,000 people on this island. I don't think they counting all of the tourists that come in and out. And you have literally no financial institution in that island.
Right. So now that you spoke about banks not being in Andros, or just the point of banks now we know are pulling out of our old islands, but we still have persons there. Commerce still needs to take place.
Still has to happen.
So what you're telling me is through our local digital wallets, I like to call them that. It's easier for me to understand it. If it's different, you could teach me.
Yes,
but I want to say a
That's
digital
what it is.
wallet, right? That like Canoe Mobile Assist and Island Pay. I could purchase $1, have not only family, staff, any persons that I owe, they themselves have $1, the app to be able to receive it, and I could just pay them, and knowing that it's backed 1-to-1 by the Bahamian government, that changes.
Yeah.
That changes a lot. So no longer do I have to send funds over by the boat.
Yeah.
Or fly over an envelope that I hope is not lost.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Or persons telling me, well, they cannot. I have family that's saying they're having issues with purchasing grocery, or I can't get grocery to them in time, that I could just, from the tip of my fingers.
Yep, that's it. Makes life easy. So I think the government did an excellent job when they was trying to roll it out, and they started off on the islands first, and then they worked their way back. I think they did an excellent job, and to be honest with you, because you got to remember, with all these commercial banks, it's the bottom line. I guess they weren't profitable in those islands because they're like low density. Yeah. The population wasn't big. So, banks, I think they make most of their money on loans. I think that's where they make the majority of their revenue. So if you have traditional people, first of all, they don't like banks and they don't like loans. They bill in out their pocket.
Right.
So the house will be billing for 10 years,
yeah.
but they bill in out their pocket.
You know that.
So the loans already low. And, so they're making different, and then they got this operation that they have to maintain. So if you look at it, the right thing to do is to pull out. Right. They probably was there longer than they should have been, just because they were thinking, okay, we have to have a presence here. But I think now with the way online banking and all these stuff, everything's going on, they decided, hey, listen, we could pull out, and the guys have to figure something out. Now the Bahamas government with $1 that does alleviate a lot of the pain of a bank pulling out of a country now. So
of
an island now.
So we more almost have control to how the necessities or the amenities that we could provide, or that is provided, to the citizens.
Not only that, but you got to remember, there's a lot of tourist-based businesses there too, right?
That is true.
So now with some of those, I know for a fact that Canoe Pay, they are POS also for businesses, so you can sign up for a business account. I don't know about the mobile assist. I'm pretty sure they have it also, but I don't want to speak on something that doesn't exist.
Right.
But I know that you could, sign up as a business and you can accept payments.
Wow.
So that just makes life even easier. So you have it. You already have an ecosystem that you can use to pay other people, vendors or whatever. Then you also could spend locally money, and then you could also accept money into this ecosystem too. So I think it's a win-win situation for everyone. So I think everyone should embrace it, you know what I mean? Instead of it's not the same as a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, you could be a millionaire today, and tomorrow you broke.
That's something. That's something.
I tell you, they'll go up and down, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But
it's like when you go to your bank account and the bank mistakenly put money in your
in
your account, and it's like you have here, and then you go back 15 minutes later, and it's like, oh, back to reality.
Yeah, crypto wild boy.
Wow. Well, that's something. That's going to be a topic that we're going to have to go into. We're going to go into deeper at some point. But sure. I wanted to just put this one point out there. So now that I'm able to use $1 through Canoe Mobile Assist Island Pay, do you think now that would help when I go to the gas stations these days, because I need for one of them to figure out a way that I could get a discount off my gas.
Boy, listen, we all need a discount on our gas.
Listen,
Listen to me, cause boy, gas is, whew. Yeah. I filled up the other day. Well, I didn't fill up because I stopped filling up because I just like, yeah, that don't make sense. I stopped filling up. I just give them what I got. I gave them $50 the other day. It was like $7 a gallon. I was like, wait, whatever this do, just let me know what this do. You know what I mean? Because it's ridiculous.
I was trying to learn. What I was trying to do is I have a lawnmower at home, and I was trying to see if I could find a way to jimmy that so I could drop the kids to school and get to work, because I'm like, I know that it only takes a certain amount of gas, but it out there, you can imagine I couldn't even fill up my lawnmower.
Right, it's tough.
Understanding exactly where we are with these gas prices. Just wanted to, how do you think, or what are your thoughts about, you know, the low-income families, the small businesses? How are they able to survive during a time like this?
Boy, I don't know. Because, I mean, you got to think about it. No one said anything about pay raises. And gas is one of the most primary expenses you got to get to work. And, you know, I mean, and especially if you're a small business, you got to move around. So I guess you have control. If you're a small business, you could raise your rates. But everybody's struggling. So you raise your rates, you know, it's just a trickle effect, you know. So, I mean, it's tough. I don't know how they can make it, but hopefully it doesn't last too long. The war in Ukraine, hopefully that ends quickly. I don't know how long that could be, but I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And believe it or not, we have so much other global issues that are globally that we can say that we feel here at home. I would just like to thank John for taking the time to giving us some of the insight in his fields, but we will also be having guests from all different industries, so who could give us, you know, good insight, knowledge, tips on how we could further ourselves, advance and develop ourselves. So that is something that I'm very excited for, very excited. So please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share as we go along with us on this Kandid journey.
Awesome.